A Singaporean can teach you better than an American person can. So just give them a chance. They can teach you better conversation, how to deal, how to teach. And I think non-native speakers should also be given an opportunity. I think take an interview. Okay, take a test. That's fine. They are agreeing with that. That's not a problem because they're not native. But not giving an opportunity is something different.
It's something different.
Yeah,
wow.
Because they feel unfair. Like, hey, we've been speaking English. Just because we're not born in America doesn't mean we can't teach.
Let's assume someone that's from Singapore or someone from Nigeria or someone from India.
Yeah.
Like you say, India has been included, yeah. Or someone from another country that speaks English, or English is an official language, and the person studied English up to PhD level.
Yeah.
And the person got teaching license as well. But you haven't fulfilled just one condition. And that condition is that you're not from a native English speaking country. Are you still saying that that is fair?
So by Korea and Japan placing these rules, such as how like they only accept people from native countries, I think it's very fair. Because if we're talking about like if you just accept everyone that can speak English, then I don't think it would be ideal, because let's say Singapore, for example, are like English speakers. Even like Indonesia, like people can speak English, but the ability to teach English as like a native is very hard, and I think only native people can do that.
Tom just joined us, and I will allow him to introduce himself. So Tom, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Tom. I've been in Korea for about like a little more than 2 years, and I'm now working at like an AI company. And I guess like since the moment I came to Korea compared to now, I feel like Korea changed a lot, and I can like see like a major difference, and I would love to like talk about my experiences. But yeah, happy to be here, and I'd love to share my thoughts with y'all.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, did you introduce yourself, or did I?
No.
You didn't? Oh, please. Oh, forgive me, please go ahead.
So, hi, I'm Ari, and I'm from India. And I've been living in Korea for like seven and a half months now. Currently, I'm studying Korean here at Yonsei University. I'm also a model, and I'm an aspiring actress. I'm also a cloud engineer. I worked as a cloud engineer at Amazon. So I'm a tech girl now. Getting into.
If you're looking for something, you're looking for a model, please text Aria, please send me a message and I'll forward it. You will get across to her immediately. Yeah.
Thank you.
The question I have is, for you to teach English in Korea and in Japan, the conditions are that, one, you must be from a native English speaking country.
Right.
Yeah, and there are, I think, 7 or 8 of them.
Right.
Yeah. So, do you think, like you just said, you lived in the US for quite a long time, and you lived in India, and worldwide, there are 64 countries that consider English as their official language.
Right.
Yeah. So do you think that condition, even if you studied English in university and have the teaching license, but you can't teach English here or in Korea, or here or in Japan, because you're not from a native English speaking country, do you think that is fair to other people?
You want to go first?
Yeah, so the thing is, like English, a lot of people can speak English, but like teaching English is a big thing, and not many people like realize this. Like there's like knowing English and being like fluent in English, and like not even like Americans. Like I've seen like Americans that can like speak English pretty well, but in terms of like teaching and actually knowing like the vocabulary, the structures, and like the phonetics, like they can't do it. Like they can't really teach someone to learn those. So by Korea and Japan placing these rules, such as how like they only accept people from native countries, I think it's very fair, because if we're talking about like if you just accept everyone that can speak English, then I don't think it would be ideal, because let's say Singapore, for example, are like English speakers. Even like Indonesia, like people can speak English, but the ability to teach English as like a native is very hard, and I think only native people can do that. And by placing those rules, like the Koreans, like they kind of want like the American accent, which is kind of, I don't get it, but it's kind of popular, you know. Yeah. So they want that type of accent, and in order to provide their children with the ability to learn that type of accent is to place them surrounded by English teachers, like Americans. So I think that's kind of fair. But being like, despite this, I think this might be a bit controversial, but Korea's education system is messed up. They have these rules, but they still accept people that aren't from native countries. And I've seen a lot of those. International schools, yes, that rule is very strict, but they have a lot of hagwons, just like academies in Korea, and like they just accept people that can speak English really well. And I've been offered an English teaching job just because of my ability to speak English well, but I'm not like an English teacher or anything, you know. So like, it's kind of like they have these rules, but there's like a gray line, you know. They have these rules.
But in terms of the what I mean is like people that can be officially sponsored by schools to teach English. Yeah.
You mean like the schools that sponsor?
Yeah, people that sponsor
the teachers, like
the teachers. Yes, and everything.
And wait, are you talking about? Do you think they should sponsor other teachers that aren't from native countries?
I'm asking, like other people that are not from. What was your opinion before I clarify?
So my opinion is I kind of disagree with the Korean system because basically, actually, the Indian accent is technically very different from what I speak. I don't speak in an Indian accent, and I trained myself into a different accent myself. I didn't have any sources or something like that, no. But Korea has been really focused with only native speakers. I agree with him that not all the native speakers are able to teach, yes. But there are many countries where, like for me, I've been speaking English for 25 years now. So I'm pretty fluent in English. I can work in English. I've been working, speaking, studying, playing, even talking with my parents in English all the time. So for me, English is, I have a native proficiency in English.
Yes.
But the problem is, the only problem I got was recently, I can't teach English because of the visa. Because visa is only being offered to native speakers. But recently, Korea has introduced a new system for Indian people because they know India's official language is also English. So they said, if you give this exam, we'll give you the visa. That's fine.
Okay.
That's totally fine. We're okay with that. So I'm not complaining because my country got the privilege. But there are many countries where,
like Singapore, some other countries,
they have really good accents. If you talk to them, you're not sometimes able to make out whether they're American or Canadian or Singaporean. But the problem is, people only want American people to teach them. They don't even want British people. They just want American people or Canadian people. That's just kind of very, I would say, a racist thing. Like, hey, a Singaporean can teach you better than an American person can. So just give them a chance. They can teach you better conversation, how to deal, how to teach. And I think non-native speakers should also be given an opportunity. I think take an interview. Okay, take a test. That's fine. They are agreeing with that. That's not a problem because they're not native. But not giving an opportunity is something different.
It's something different.
Yeah,
wow.
Because they feel unfair. Like, hey, we have been speaking English. Just because we're not born in America doesn't mean we can't teach. So I kind of disagree. I'm not.
I agree with what
you can.
I agree with what you just said.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I don't like. I think if we were to let everyone teach English, I think the system would be kind of messed up. So a better way would be to kind of, if you want to be a teacher, you gotta provide some sort of certificate or training that you went through, and that certifies that you're a qualified teacher.
Totally, I agree.
I think that's a better system than just allowing everyone, because then the meaning of a teacher and native speakers would just
but the problem
I totally
but the problem we pointing out is that even if, let's assume someone that's from Singapore or someone from Nigeria or someone from India, like you say India has been included, or someone from another country that speaks English, or English is an official language, and the person studied English up to PhD level, and the person got teaching license as well, but you haven't fulfilled just one condition.
That
And
you're
that
native,
condition
yeah.
is that you're not from a native English-speaking country. Are you still saying that that is fair?
No, it's absolutely not fair. It's like that's
Yeah.
if he then like if he went through all of the things that you just listed, then he's qualified, and qualification is what matters most.
Yes,
totally.
yes,
Yeah, I agree
yes,
with him.
yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
also, like, I want to say, like, Korea's, they have this rule, but they're also letting people from, like, non-native countries also teach, though. It's not like how it is. There's a lot of hagwons and, like, places where, like, as long as, like, they're white, they just lie to the parents.
I have also seen this, like a couple of people from Europe where like it's not a native speaking country, they have a different language and they're not good at English, but because they're white, sometimes they get a privilege of like getting in, oh, okay, just telling people, oh, we're lying to the parents, we're from America or like South America and stuff like that. But yeah, I would agree. The best thing would be to take a test, interview, license, whatever they have to take. That's not an issue. Everyone's ready to give it, but give a chance to everybody.
Give a chance. That's
Yeah.
right. I believe that every person that speaks English have an accent.
Everybody has an accent.
There is
Yeah,
everybody.
that's true.
Australia have their own Australian accent. UK, like UK has an accent. American, their own accent. You
Yeah.
understand? Like,
And
so-
even in America, you have different accents, like
It's
Californian
different
accents, different from New York.
Texas,
Yeah.
you understand? So everybody that speak Indian has Indian accent.
Yeah.
Every other person, they have their own accent. So sometimes an Australian person might be speaking to you. You're saying, "Yeah, can you say that again?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So English, everybody have their own different accent.
Totally.
You understand?
Yeah.
But if you pick like a particular accent that this is the accent I want my child to be taught by American, I want my child to be taught by so person. Understand? Do you think English is all about the accent? Or there are basics, the grammar, the everything. I think English is not all about accent. It's about learning the basics, like the grammar and the rest of it. So what do you think?
I think your question is amazing. First,
You can go
okay,
ahead,
all
yeah.
right. So I personally agree with you. Accent is not the main thing that needs to be focused on. Like for me, I studied English all my life in just an Indian accent. I learned this accent myself, like just practicing and stuff like
Yes.
that. But I can understand any accent in the world, whether it's British or Australian or American, just because I know English.
That's
so I
right.
can understand any accent. But also in Korea or in some countries, people have this like this mentality that if my child speaks an American accent, he's going to be regarded more. So people just want their children to have that kind of posh or rich accent where they look more superior than other children in the society. So that's why they want, like Korea especially wants American accent.
Yeah, that's
so even if like someone asks me, they don't find I'm from India. They always say, "Are you South American?" because of my accent. So I'm like, no, I'm not South American, but they just want, oh, can you teach my child some American, how to say slangs and stuff? I'm like, your child don't need some slang right now. But they just want it to look cool, to look better among the society for the accent. But if you really want to know the basic, no, you don't need it.
If you really want to learn
Language,
English,
you
the
don't
accent
need it.
is
Yeah.
not that very
doesn't
important.
matter.
Like
Yeah.
the grammar, the learning the basics and every other thing
Yeah.
is the structure of English. You understand? Just
Same
like if you want to learn Korean.
Same as Korean, right?
Yeah, it's same as Korean.
We have Seoul accent, we have Busan accent.
Yes.
Some people who have been living all their life in Busan speaks Busan accent, but doesn't mean they're speaking wrong Korean. They're speaking right. It's just the accent difference.
Yeah.
You want-
Yeah, no, I agree with the accent thing, and also like when you said like English as a language, like you know what I really like about the language English, there's different ways to portray a meaning. You know, and there's a lot of synonyms and antonyms, and you can like go around about your ways to like say the same thing but in different ways. And the ways to portray your words in a very like artistic way, it's very unique. I like that. It's hard to do that in my own language, but with English you can like really incorporate a lot of like synonyms to like make the language
Meaningful.
beautiful,
Yeah.
meaningful. So I like that. And with the accent thing, it's because of America. Like it's one of the top countries.
Yeah.
America is heavily influential. A lot of dramas, a lot of shows, movies, Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Like I don't want to be that guy, but it makes sense why people want that accent.
a lot of
you know?
sense, yeah.
Like if we were to compare to UK, America is way more influential than the UK,
Yeah.
Australia. So and like most of the popular billionaires, like everything is like kind of based in America.
Totally. Yeah.
So it makes sense that people want to do and like do things that what's on the top. And same goes with like everything. Like if we were to look at like anime, like you know, Japan will be based at the top with anime
Right,
cartoons.
yeah.
So it makes sense, you know, like America is very influential with the way they speak and stuff. So like they get influenced by it and they want that accent. So it makes sense. I don't like hate it. It just makes sense.
I also agree with him, like totally. When I was learning the American accent for the first time, it was pretty like just because I wanted to sound like this movie star. You know, people would be like, "Oh, you sound like her." It was a bullshit reason. Well, I agree with him totally in this case.
Wow. That was an interesting conversation, and if you have opinions, please say it in the comment section. As always, see you next time. And if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. More educating programs and interesting interviews are coming your way. Thank you, Aria, for coming, and Tom.
Thank you for having me.
See you next time.
Oh, see you next time, guys.